Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be taking a look at As a Man Thinketh. Well, actually a Hindi translation of it.
Oh, cool.
Um, but yeah, it's a classic, and it's all about the power of thought
Yeah.
and how they shape our reality. So we're going to be going through that, pulling out, the most impactful points and hopefully sparking some like aha moments for all of you.
It's amazing how relevant this book still is today, you know? It was
Yeah.
written over a century ago and it's still, it just resonates with so many people. It
Yeah.
really digs into this idea that our thoughts aren't just these fleeting things, just kind of bouncing around in our heads.
hmm
They're actually the architects of our lives.
Yeah. Okay, so the book starts off strong with this analogy. It compares thoughts to seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, have you ever thought about like what that actually means for us on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, that's such a powerful analogy, right? Because it makes you stop and think about, what we're planting in our minds.
hmm
We're constantly planting these mental seeds,
Yeah.
whether we realize it or not.
Mm.
And, just like a tiny little seed can sprout into this massive tree,
Mhm.
our thoughts, they have that potential to grow into something much bigger than just a thought.
Yeah.
And so if we're constantly, planting seeds of doubt
hmm
and negativity, we might end up with a garden full of weeds, metaphorically speaking, of course.
Right.
But if we're focused on cultivating thoughts of confidence and gratitude and love, well, those seeds have the potential to blossom into something truly beautiful.
So it's not just like think positive and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
It's recognizing that our thoughts actually like have consequences.
Exactly. Our thoughts have real world consequences. Think about a time when you were feeling really confident, like maybe you were about to give a presentation or something and you just knew you were going to crush it.
hmm
How did that confidence affect your behavior?
Yeah.
Did you stand a little taller? Did you speak with more conviction?
Mm.
Did you project your voice? Chances are that confidence had a direct impact on your performance and the outcome of that situation.
Yeah.
Now, flip the script. Imagine approaching that same presentation, but this time you're riddled with self-doubt. How do you think that would affect your actions and the results?
Yeah, totally. We've all been there where our thoughts either help us or,
Mm.
unfortunately make us stumble and fall flat on our face.
Yeah,
It's like we're writing the script for our lives with every single thought.
you got it. And As a Man Thinketh takes that idea a step further.
Okay.
It suggests that our thoughts aren't just shaping, individual events, they're
Mm.
shaping our character as a whole.
So, like, how does that work?
Yeah.
Does the book actually say, like, how those thought seeds actually grow into our personality traits?
It does. It uses this analogy of a garden again.
Okay.
So just like we carefully tend a garden, choosing which plants to nurture, which ones to weed out, we're constantly cultivating our character by deciding which thoughts we allow to take root.
So if I'm consistently thinking thoughts of kindness and compassion,
Yeah.
those qualities will start to, like, bloom within me.
You got it. And on the flip side, if we harbor negative thoughts, you know, resentment, jealousy, anger, all those can take root too and potentially lead to, bitterness and negativity in our lives.
So we're constantly shaping and reshaping who we are
Yeah.
with every thought.
It's a continuous process. And just like a sculptor chiseling away at a block of stone,
Mm-hmm.
to create a masterpiece,
Yeah.
it takes time and patience and intention to shape our character into the best version of ourselves.
If that makes sense. But what about those moments when, like, life just throws us a curveball?
Mm-hmm.
Does the book address how we can maintain inner peace when things around us are just chaotic?
It does. And that's where the idea of circumstances don't define us comes in.
Okay.
It acknowledges that we may not always be able to control what happens to us externally,
hmm
but we always have a choice in how we respond internally.
So even when things are bad, we can choose to cultivate a sense of peace and strength within us.
Exactly. As a Man Thinketh suggests that true strength doesn't come from, avoiding difficult situations.
Right.
It comes from navigating them with grace and resilience. It's about recognizing that we always have the power to choose our thoughts and therefore our emotional responses.
Okay, so instead of just getting swept away by negativity, we can focus on, the thoughts that kind of ground us and empower us.
Precisely. It's like we are the captain of our own ship,
Okay.
navigating the sometimes stormy seas of life.
That is a really powerful image. It makes me wonder, what kind of captain am I?
Hmm.
Am I steering my ship with confidence and purpose? Or am I just letting you know the winds of negativity toss me around?
That's a great question to ask yourself.
Yeah.
And it leads us to another key point in As a Man Thinketh,
Okay.
the power of purpose.
So how does purpose play into all of this?
Okay.
Like, does the book give us a roadmap for figuring out our purpose in life?
It doesn't lay out, step-by-step instructions, but it does highlight why purpose is so crucial.
Okay.
It suggests that having a clear purpose gives our thoughts direction, like a compass guiding us towards, our desired destination.
Okay, I get that, but how does that actually, like, translate into our daily lives?
Well, think of it this way. When you have a clear purpose, it's like you've got this internal filter for your thoughts and your actions. Decisions become easier because you're constantly asking yourself, does this align with my purpose? Your actions become more meaningful because you're not just drifting through life, You're intentionally moving towards something that matters to you.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So purpose gives us a framework for making choices that are aligned with our values.
You got it. And that driving force, that sense of purpose, it can be incredibly powerful. It really is. It's like having a North Star, guiding us through the complexities of life.
Right.
But As a Man Thinketh doesn't just tell us to find our purpose and then everything will magically fall into place. It actually gets into like the nitty-gritty of how we can cultivate those thoughts and habits that will help us live a more purposeful life.
Okay, I like that. So what kind of practical advice does it offer?
Well, one of the tools that it really emphasizes is visualization.
Okay.
It suggests that we can actually use our imagination to shape our reality.
Okay, I've heard about this before, but I'm always a little skeptical. Is it really like as simple as just picture what you want and it magically appears?
Well, it's not about, like passive wishing or anything. It's about active creation.
Okay.
The book suggests that when we vividly imagine ourselves achieving our goals, we're essentially sending this powerful message to our subconscious mind.
Okay.
It's like we're creating a blueprint for success, and then our mind starts working on making that blueprint a reality.
So it's more about training our minds to believe that what we want is possible.
Exactly. And the more we visualize, the more those thoughts take root and they start to influence our actions.
Okay.
It's like mental rehearsal, for example. Imagine like an athlete preparing for a big competition.
Yeah.
They don't just, show up on game day and hope for the best.
Right.
They spend countless hours visualizing themselves, performing at their peak.
Oh, okay. So if I want to give a killer presentation, I should be like closing my eyes and imagining myself speaking with confidence.
Yes.
Engaging the audience, nailing every point.
Exactly. Engage all your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? The more vivid the visualization, the more powerful the impact.
Now that you say that, it makes me think about all the times I've like psyched myself out before, like a big event.
Yeah.
Like focusing on all the things that could go wrong. It's almost like I was visualizing failure.
We all do it.
Yeah.
And that's why this book, As a Man Thinketh, is so insightful, because it helps us become aware of those negative thought patterns.
Right.
And it gives us tools to shift them.
Okay, so visualization is one tool. What are some of the others?
Well, the book talks a lot about self-discipline,
Okay.
which it describes as the ability to control our thoughts and actions, even when it's difficult. It's like being the gardener of our own minds.
Okay.
Weeding out the negative thoughts and nurturing the positive ones.
Okay, so that ties back into the thoughts of seeds analogy.
Exactly.
But what does that actually look like in practice?
Well, it's about becoming more aware of our thoughts. Recognizing when we're slipping into those negative thinking patterns.
Right.
It's about catching ourselves when we start to doubt ourselves or criticize others or dwell on the past.
Right.
And then it's about, consciously choosing to shift our focus to something more positive and constructive.
So instead of letting those negative thoughts run wild, we can redirect them to something more empowering.
Exactly. It's not about suppressing negative emotions or pretending that they don't exist. It's about, acknowledging them, understanding where they're coming from, and then making a conscious choice to focus on thoughts that serve us better.
I really like that. It's like taking control of our minds.
Yeah.
And creating like a more positive inner environment.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
The book also talks about the importance of understanding the link between our thoughts and our emotions. It suggests that, our thoughts are the root of our feelings. So if we're thinking negative thoughts, we're likely to experience negative emotions.
Right.
But if we shift our focus to more positive thoughts,
Mm.
our emotions will follow suit.
So it's not about like forcing ourselves to feel happy all the time.
No.
It's just that our emotions are a reflection of our thoughts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes that shift in thinking can be as simple as choosing to focus on, something that we're grateful for,
Mm.
even in the midst of challenges, Right.
Gratitude is like a powerful antidote to negativity.
It reminds me of this quote I read recently.
Hmm.
What you focus on expands.
I love that.
It's like when we focus on the good, even if it's something small, it can totally shift our whole perspective.
Absolutely. As a Man Thinketh suggests that we have far more control over our emotional well-being than we might realize.
It is very empowering.
It is.
Like, we're not just at the mercy of our emotions. We can actually, cultivate the emotional states that we want to experience.
That's the idea. And the book also emphasizes the importance of cultivating certain qualities
Okay.
that can support us in this journey of mental mastery. Qualities like serenity, courage, self-reliance.
Okay. Those sound like excellent qualities to have, but how do we actually cultivate those?
Well, it starts with, recognizing that these qualities aren't something that we're, born with or without. They're something that we develop through consistent effort and practice. So it's like we're building a muscle. The more we exercise it,
Exactly.
the stronger it gets.
You got it. It's about being intentional about the thoughts we choose to focus on, the actions that we take, and the people that we surround ourselves with.
So if I want to cultivate serenity, I should be practicing mindfulness, spending time in nature, surrounding myself with people who radiate that calmness and peace.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
It's about aligning our thoughts, our actions, and our environment with the qualities that we want to embody.
This is fascinating. It's like we're not just passive recipients of our circumstances. We're actively shaping our inner world. And that has a ripple effect on everything else in our lives.
That's the beauty of As a Man Thinketh. It reminds us that we have far more power than we often realize. And it challenges us to step into that power, to become, conscious creators of our lives.
This is making me rethink my whole approach to life. Instead of feeling like I'm constantly reacting to things,
I can choose to be more proactive, more intentional about the thoughts I'm planting and the reality that I'm creating.
That's the key takeaway.
Yeah.
As a Man Thinketh encourages us to view life as a garden that we're constantly tending. It reminds us that we have the power to choose which seeds we plant, which weeds we pull, and ultimately what kind of garden we want to cultivate.
This is giving me a lot to think about, but speaking of chewing, does the book talk about how our thoughts affect our physical health at all?
It does.
Okay.
It touches on that, suggesting that our thoughts and emotions have a direct impact on our physical well-being.
Oh.
It doesn't go into, a lot of scientific detail.
Right.
But it does emphasize that, when our minds are healthy and at peace, our bodies tend to follow suit.
So stress and negativity can manifest physically.
That's what the book suggests.
Okay.
It argues that negative thoughts create tension and disharmony within the body, which can weaken our immune system.
Make us more susceptible to illness. On the other hand, positive thoughts and emotions promote, relaxation,
Right.
balance, and overall well-being.
That makes sense. We've all felt that. How stress can manifest physically, like headaches, muscle tension, digestive issues.
Absolutely. As a Man Thinketh reminds us that, we're not just minds and bodies. We are integrated beings. Our thoughts, our emotions, and our physical health are all interconnected.
So this is making me wonder if, cultivating a more positive mindset could actually boost my immune system and make me healthier.
Well, the book doesn't make any specific medical claims or anything like that, but it does emphasize the power of the mind to influence our physical state. It suggests that when we focus on thoughts of health and vitality and well-being, we're essentially creating a positive environment for healing and growth within our bodies.
It's fascinating. It's like we have this incredible inner pharmacy that we can tap into just by shifting our thoughts.
That's a great way to put it, and I think this is a perfect place to pause for part 2 of our deep dive.
Okay.
So join us for part 3, where we'll explore the book's insights on relationships, success, and living a more purposeful life.
All right, so we're back. And the last part, we were talking about the mind-body connection and how our thoughts can actually, impact our physical health.
Yeah.
And that was amazing to learn about.
Yeah.
But I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about relationships.
Okay.
Does As a Man Thinketh talk about how our thoughts play a role in our relationships with others?
Oh, absolutely. It suggests that our thoughts and beliefs don't just shape our inner world. They also create this kind of energy that we project outward,
Okay.
which influences how we interact with others
Mm-hmm.
and how they perceive us.
So if I'm like walking around with a lot of self-doubt or insecurity, other people are going to pick up on that.
It's very likely. And I think about it, when you meet someone who's just radiating confidence and self-assurance, you're naturally drawn to them, right? They have this certain magnetism.
Right.
But on the other hand, if someone is constantly putting themselves down
Right.
or apologizing for their existence,
Yeah.
it can be really draining to be around them.
Yeah, totally. We have all met those people who just attract positivity and success,
Yeah.
and others who just seem to be stuck in this cycle of negativity.
Well, the book argues that this isn't just a matter of luck or personality or anything. It's about the thoughts and beliefs that we hold about ourselves and the world around us. If we believe we're worthy of love and respect and success, we're more likely to act in ways that attract those things into our lives.
So it's not just think positive and everything will be fine.
Right.
It's more about having that genuine self-love.
Exactly. Cultivating that genuine self-love and self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
And, that can be a real challenge for a lot of people. Yeah. We're often bombarded with these messages that tell us we're not good enough,
Yeah.
not thin enough, not rich enough.
Right.
And it's so easy to internalize those messages and start to believe them.
I know. I've definitely struggled with that before. It's like I have this inner critic in my head that's just constantly telling me I'm not worthy.
We all have that inner critic to some extent.
Yeah.
But as a man thinketh, it reminds us that we don't have to listen to that voice.
Right.
We have the power to choose which thoughts we give our attention to.
Okay, so how do we do that? How do we start cultivating more self-love? Does the book give any advice?
Well, it emphasizes the importance of treating ourselves with the same kindness and compassion that we would offer a loved one,
Yeah.
It encourages us to focus on our strengths, celebrate our accomplishments, and forgive ourselves for our mistakes.
It's like we need to become our own best friend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not about being arrogant or self-absorbed or anything. It's about recognizing our inherent worthiness and treating ourselves with respect.
That makes a lot of sense. So when we love and respect ourselves, we can set those healthy boundaries in our relationships and attract those people who will treat us the way we deserve to be treated.
Yeah. The book also suggests that we tend to attract people who are a reflection of our own inner state.
Oh, really?
So if we're surrounded by negativity and drama, it might be a sign that we need to do some inner work.
Wow. So if I want to have like more positive and supportive relationships, I need to start by cultivating those qualities in myself.
Precisely. It's about becoming the kind of person we want to attract.
Okay, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Now, what about success? Does As a Man Thinketh talk about that at all?
It does. It dedicates a whole chapter to success.
Okay.
And it argues that success is not just about hard work and talent. It's also about having a belief in ourselves and our ability to achieve what we set out to do.
So if I don't believe I can succeed, I'm probably going to fail.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
If we're constantly telling ourselves we're not good enough or that we're going to fail, we're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
Our thoughts create our reality.
So even when things get tough, it's important to cultivate that positive mindset.
Exactly. The book emphasizes the importance of perseverance, resilience, a willingness to learn from our mistakes. And it reminds us that, success is rarely a straight line.
Right.
There are going to be setbacks and challenges along the way.
So it's not about avoiding failure. It's about how we respond to it.
Exactly. As a Man Thinketh encourages us to view failure as an opportunity for growth and learning rather than, a reflection of our worth.
This is so inspiring. It's like this book is giving us a whole new perspective on life,
I think so.
reminding us that we actually have way more control than we think.
That's right. It's about recognizing that we're not just passive passengers on this journey called life. We're the drivers.
Yeah.
We have the power to choose our direction, our mindset, and ultimately our destination.
I love that. Like we're all driving our own unique vehicles and we get to decide where we're going.
Yeah, and as a man thinketh, it's like our roadmap guiding us towards a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
This has been such an eye-opening experience for me. I feel like I'm walking away with so many tools and just like a deeper understanding of my own thoughts.
Well, it truly is a timeless classic.
Yeah,
And its message is just as relevant today as it was, over a century ago.
I completely agree. I actually have a quote from the book that really resonated with me.
Okay.
It says, "Man is made or unmade by himself in the armory of thought. He forges the weapons by which he destroys himself. He also fashions the tools with which he builds for himself heavenly mansions of joy and strength and peace."
That's a powerful one.
Yeah, it reminds us that, we have that power to create or destroy, build ourselves up or tear ourselves down,
Yeah.
all with our thoughts.
All through the power of our minds.
It is a little daunting, but also so empowering.
It is.
It's like we have this power within us, and it's up to us to decide how to use it.
Absolutely. And as we reach the end of our deep dive into As a Man Thinketh, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
This book is a reminder that life is a journey of continuous growth and self-discovery. It's an invitation to become more conscious creators of our own reality. So embrace the journey, be patient with yourself, and never stop learning and growing.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into As a Man Thinketh. We hope you enjoyed the journey as much as we have.
We do, and we encourage you to check out the book for yourself and discover its timeless wisdom.
Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep those thoughts positive and those gardens growing.